Sweet. It's working. It's probably a little early, couple minutes early, but it'll give everything time to populate so people can come watch and everything. Uh, got some talking points I'm going to go through. I've got a nice cold beer, an appropriate beer for the situation. And no one's watching yet, so we'll give it some time to populate and then we'll get chatting. Hopefully, people will have some super chat questions this time around, and then we can see what we can do. I hope everyone's staying safe. Ooh, 3 viewers already. All right. I hope everyone's staying safe. What's happening, buddy? Um, what's happening? Let me see. Let me make sure. I'm just trying to figure out the super chat thing in case anyone brought some super chat questions along. If you water it, it grows. Thank you for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. How do I go? Oh, I can scroll through. Okay, and it highlights the super chat questions. All right, so we've got 8 people going so far. Basically, I guess I'll just get started. It's about 6 o'clock. I said I've got talking points. I'm just gonna start it with I guess I'm kind of back-ish. I've made a couple of videos since saying I didn't want to do it anymore. Excuse me, but I've been feeling a little bit inspired. I guess it's a symptom of the whole virus situation. Bright green, spirited green metallic is the best color for the Mazda 2. This one would be green, but they didn't offer that color anymore in 2014, so here we are with a silver one. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm back-ish. Hi from Morocco. Nice to see you. I'm back-ish. I've kind of wanted to come back and do this. I said that I was over it, and really at that time, I was feeling. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that makes my problems your problems, but I was really depressed at that time when I made that last that farewell video saying I didn't want to do it anymore. So it was just a difficult time, and I was feeling a little overwhelmed by the whole thing. So that's as far as I'll go into that. So I guess what I'm saying is really I just needed a break from the whole thing. But going forward, I am gonna lay down some ground rules. I'm not gonna diagnose people's cars for free anymore. Um, that put simply, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just some guy with a garage, and so I don't want to be people's personal mechanic. And that really was one of the reasons why I kind of went away before, is just because people would come with heavy diagnostics and wanting me to fix it, a problem that's not wrong on either of my cars. And the thing is, it costs money. I am a successful YouTuber, semi-successful, I guess. I've got several thousand subscribers, but I'm not rich by any means. I do this for fun, so there's that. But yeah, so going forward, I'm gonna try not to hold myself to such a standard, and make and just not try to do the, oh, you've got to make a video every week to be successful and all that. So I'm just going to avoid that, and when I'm feeling inspired, I'm going to make something. If I feel like sharing information or showing people how to do something, I know that's going to open me up to requests. So, the personal mechanic requests, but I've got a little bit better perspective on that now. So it's a little more laid back now. But I guess one good positive for the Mazda 2 community is that I'm mostly back, as I guess as a result, a symptom of the whole virus thing. Excuse me, I'm a couple beers in, so So forgive me if I've got a burp every once in a while. Um, I hope, like I said, speaking of the whole virus thing, I hope everyone's out there being safe and not, I know it sucks, but the quicker we get through this, the quicker life can get back to, well, I hope it doesn't get back to normal, but that's a whole nother thing, and anyone who follows me on Instagram knows how I feel about it. So I just hope that we can move through the process sooner rather than later. So I'll leave that there. Hello from Cyprus. I'm surprised at how many international viewers I've got on this episode. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Hoax City. Okay. Um, anyway, uh, so going past the what's up, buddy? So going past all that, I'm back. Cool. So we can move on from that. I hope everyone's happy, and we'll stick around for some more content going forward. Next on my list, I actually wanted to bring up because this is the Mostly Mazda vidcast. Unfortunately, I don't have any friends to have a roundtable discussion with this time around, but I'll open it up to everyone else. And at the end, as I said around the internet where I pitched this live thing, oh my God, 10 Pete, buddy, that that's amazing. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. $10. Everyone go follow. I think it's, oh my God, I'm not remembering your Instagram at Pete Deuce. I think it is. Yes, it's the same as it is here on YouTube. But thank you. Good 16V Pete. That's what it is. It was Pete Deuce. But go follow at 16V Pete on Instagram. He's a good Mazda 2 follow for all the people out there. We're a tight community, so everyone kind of knows. But anyway, next topic I've written down. I wanted to talk about the next gen Mazda 6, which is rumored to be going rear-wheel drive. And oh my God, $10 more. Thank you. Oh man, you're making me very I'm embarrassed, but I'm very grateful. I appreciate it. Anyway, back to the Mazda 6. The rumor mill's going on it right now. The rumor is that it's going to be rear-wheel drive. They recently patented an inline six, or they filed a patent for an inline six engine. So the rumor is that the next generation 6 is going to be rear-wheel drive, turbocharged inline 6 with a mild hybrid system, which sounds awesome. I One thing I really don't like about this, of course, I like inline 6. They sound great. They're torquey, they're powerful, they're very smooth. Uh, Rear-wheel drive, which is really cool as well, especially in a big body or, well, a medium body sedan like that. I like that. Turbo, yes. Mild hybrid system, why not? The whole thing I don't like about that, because I am a big Mazda guy, uh, this continuing involvement with Toyota kind of worries me that eventually Toyota is going to purchase a stake in Mazda or outright absorb them. They've got the excuse me, they've got the cross-platform sharing of the Mazda 2 in the Toyota Yaris, now the sedan and hatchback. They're sharing hybrid technology. They have a joint factory that they're building here in the States. Yes, Toyota does have the money. But I worry that Mazda will cease to be Mazda at some point down the line with too much Toyota involvement. I haven't heard anything about GM backing, but I mean, GM's got all the money, Toyota's got all the money. I just hope that no GM parts make it into any Mazdas. But uh, inline six rear wheel drive turbo hybrid with a possible Toyota rear wheel drive platform, maybe sharing with a Lexus IS. Maybe I I'm excited. It's a great prospect for Mazda. I mean, the rumor mill also says that it will be automatic only, which doesn't surprise me that going forward, that not a lot of people are buying manuals. It doesn't make business sense. Yes, for the drivers out there, um, any turbo plans for the Mazda 2? I'm gonna have to revisit that one. Um, but as far as the six, it's good news, but I'm cautiously optimistic about that. I just worry about the level of Toyota involvement. Yeah, it would kind of be like a Ford Mazda thing. How much did I pay for my tires? The Continental Extreme Contact Sport, they're like 110 or $20 a piece, somewhere in there. So not a whole lot of money. I'd probably buy them again. I may end up with Nitto Neogens again, but I really like the Continentals. So yeah, that's those are my thoughts on the six rear wheel drive turbo. Really cool. So there are future prospects, and the same one as the Supra. That I don't know. No, it's a Mazda developed inline six. They filed a patent for it. It's a Mazda design, so it won't be the BMW and whatever inline six. I don't know all the BMW numbers, but it will be a Mazda engine in possibly a Toyota chassis, and you know, turbo. So it'll make a lot of power, and it'll have. I'm sure Cork Sport will be on it. They're on every forced induction Mazda, and even if it's automatic only, the Skyactiv Drive automatics are really damn good. I've had experience with both modern manual and automatic Mazdas, and if I were buying a new one today, it would be automatic. A big car like a Mazda 6, a really good automatic that rev matches the downshifts and everything, that's what makes sense. In something like the 2, a manual makes sense. Something small that's like a go-kart, that's when it makes sense. Bigger cars, more power, doesn't necessarily equal a manual making it better. Putting a manual in a Hellcat isn't going to make the driving experience any better. So there's that opinion about that. Would I recommend a turbo on the 1.3 liter Mazda 2? Um, well, the 1.3s they need all the help they can get. Honestly, the thing with turbocharging the two, I'm gonna go a little off my talking point schedule and go on the whole thing about forced induction on the two is that it's a lot of custom work. Dynotronics. I don't know how many people in the community know about Dynotronics. They do the ECU tunes. They're apparently working on a turbo kit that would be bolt on and stuff. It just going from scratch on the Mazda 2 with and doing it yourself. I personally, how it all depends on how much money you want to dump into the car. Me personally, I honestly a small low boost turbo kit, maybe 180 wheel horsepower. This thing would be a rocket ship with that, but it would decrease the reliability significantly. It would make it significantly more complicated, more things to break. It adds complication. Really, in a realistic sense, I don't long for power in this car. It's lightweight. Really, all it needs is big naturally aspirated good lungs. It exactly. It's too much mucking about. Exactly. If like I said, if there can be a bolt-on kit that's $3,500 that works, that's proven to work, that's a different story. But going from scratch, I wouldn't want to do all that work and just it's too much to fuss with. And honestly, uh, horsepower is overrated, especially in something lightweight. This car doesn't need anything more than bolt-ons and a tune. Maybe some cams, and there are cams out there for it. And you can get around 130 wheel horsepower with full bolt-ons, a tune, and a good set of cams. And really, in a 2,300-pound car, that's all you need. It really horsepower is overrated 100%. I didn't read that last comment. Sorry. That was a big one. So what would you say for building up horsepower if you don't include a remap? Well, um, I do have a full cold air intake. I've got a stock exhaust manifold back exhaust, not a cat back. It honestly, taking weight out of the car made more of a difference than any of the bolt-ons. With a car like the Mazda 2, learning to drive it quickly on a racetrack or a curvy road without crashing it will be more rewarding than adding 100 horsepower to it. I guarantee it. I take this thing up to the Tail of the Dragon once a year, and I go to track days several times a year, and I beat up on things like Dodge Vipers, Fiesta STs, high horsepower things. I mean, a Fiesta ST is the closest comparison to this car. It's the same platform, and it's got 100 more horsepower. And I can beat up on a Fiesta ST with a mediocre driver at the racetrack. They pull away from me on the straights, of course, because they've got all the power. But being fast in the corners and learning how to carry momentum is far more rewarding than having all the power you could ever want. So I'm gonna leave the forced induction discussion on the two at that. Horsepower is overrated. How do I feel about the Mazda Verisa? I actually like the Verisa. If I moved to Japan, I would consider it because I mean, it's more or less same platform, same engine, and they're good looking. That's a really good looking car. Hey, what's happening? Uh, Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you know about the Verisa. Sorry. It's a little warm in here. The one thing that the Mazda Cave is lacking is air conditioning. So maybe that'll be next on the list. I'm getting a ton of super chat money, so maybe I'll be able to afford a an air conditioner going forward. Thank you again, my friends, for the super chat. Thoughts on the Mazda Cosmo 13B and 20B? I wouldn't want one with a 13B, not the big one. 20B in stock form, it's a mild 20B. I've never had a chance to have a go in one, but well, I have a fan, but it's one of those box fans, and it's huge and noisy and an ice bucket. That'd be a big to do, and it would kind of ruin the experience, I think. Going back to the Cosmo, I think it's not as rowdy as it would seem, because everyone, when they hear 20B, they think rowdy. But I'm sure it can be made to be with a lot of work. I've seen the videos of the one guy with the three rotor Cosmo that does track days in Japan. Anyone have the issue where the radio stops working? Yes, radios going bad in the Mazda 2 is apparently a very common issue. I haven't had that problem with either of mine. It's just whoever made the factory radio for the Mazda 2, they don't last. It's just one of those things that kind of either happens or it doesn't. I barely exactly. The Cosmo's a great GT car, other than the fuel mileage, because it's a rotary. But any advice on how to keep the Mazda 2 healthy during the lockdown? I mean, they're healthy cars as they are. Just keep on up on your basic maintenance and drive it when you can, even if it's around the block. No car likes to sit, so even if you can take it out for a quick spin, drive your Mazda 2 or any car for that matter. And other than basic maintenance, I mean, these cars are tanks. So, yeah, take care of it and drive it during the pandemic. Um, Next topic I wanted to go on is Mazda Team Yost is no more in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship. Uh, they After the 12 hours of Sebring, of course, the contract was supposed to run out. The Japanese fiscal year ends in March, and the contract between Mazda and Team Yost out of Germany was up, and someone decided to not re-up on that contract. I don't know if it was Yost or Mazda, but now Multimatic, who were pretty much running the program on the DPI cars, they are now in full control of that program. So I guess it's Mazda Team Multimatic now. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly. It's kind of a shame that the Yoast partnership didn't continue to flourish. They had a ton of success. I mean, they were really at the peak right before this season started. We only had the 24 hours of Daytona. Yeah, they were really unloading all the Team Yost stuff. I've got a Team Yost hat that I've never worn, and now it's useless. Also, my shirt that I made, but now I mean, considering that it was Mazda Team Yost mostly in name only, and Multimatic were running the program for exactly, I'm hanging on to that never worn Team Yost hat because it's it'll be a vintage item from a time of Mazda success. So uh, excuse me. So we'll have to see about that. So exciting news going forward. Whenever the IMSA Championship resumes, NASCAR is resuming their season in a couple of weeks. So yes, Multimatic did build the car originally, but I guess engineering it and racing it and crewing it on a given weekend was up to Yost, and then it eventually got whittled down to where Multimatic crew were taking care of the operations at the track. So now it's all on them. Hopefully, the success for the Mazda factory cars continues as it has toward the end of last season and even at the 24 Hours of Daytona. So exciting news there. Um, Next, I also wanted to brush quickly on Mazda 2's on the Dragon 3, our third year of the trip to the Dragon. That's still tentatively on, uh, pending all the virus stuff. If this continues, if it gets worse, or better, whatever happens, it's tentatively scheduled for the second week in October. Um, yeah, Pete. If you don't have a job come October, I've got it scheduled for tentatively for October 9th. I think it's the Tuesday before Petite Le Mans at Road Atlanta. You can come to that too, and because it's not that far away. But so Mazda 2's on the Dragon 3 is still on at this point. Um, Yes. Oh, damn, indeed. That's why I'm scheduling it this, because I'm gonna try and swing both the Dragon and Petite in the same week. I'm trying to figure out ways. Just Google the Tail of the Dragon. It's a well-known road in Tennessee. It's on the border of North Carolina. Oh, in the UK, you have to dream of coming. That's okay. You guys have pretty good roads in the UK in places, but I imagine it's a little harder to hoon there. Yeah, you've got to go out to the country, of course, but but yeah. So I'm trying to figure out ways to make Mazda 2's on the Dragon a little more exciting, more than a drive and a lunch and stuff. People seem to enjoy that, so if people like that, we'll keep doing it. I'll put it to a vote in the Mazda 2 owners group on Facebook eventually, and I'll run it by people. If just a drive and a lunch and shooting the shit about our cars is what we like, then we'll just keep doing that. And whoever wants to join us at Petite Le Mans, then we can do that. What's up, Kenny? Yeah, there are cameras everywhere, speed cameras in the UK. It's a menace, isn't it? I am in Florida, USA. We don't have any damn driving roads here. It's all flat and all the roads are straight. So I've got to drive 10 or 12 hours to get to any good driving roads. And so yeah, so that's my quick note about Mazda 2's on the Dragon 3. If you're in the United States or Canada, for that matter, and you want to join us, just early October, tentatively make some time for that. Um, I made a note here. Um, Looking forward to the Dragon. I am too. I really hope we can do it, and that yeah, I mean, if we got to wear masks and social distance, we'll figure it out. But I hope everything gets under control so we can have our Mazda 2 meet. And hopefully we can get more cars this year, more than 6. 12 the first year was amazing, so I hope we can get some more. I have a note here, Future 2 projects. someone already asked about forced induction, maybe a turbo kit, and I already covered the turbo kit. I'm not really on that boat right now. I'm just really at what I really want next is a tune, because I do have my intake. I've got my exhaust. I want a header eventually. I do want to get on. I want to get my hands on a B spec header or a damn, what's that header that comes from Thailand or wherever overseas. Uh, I don't know, the other header that's popular for group buys, a header in general. That's what I want. I want to tune. I do want to get some ARP extended lug nuts and some or lug studs and open ended lug nuts, just because the stock studs on there are they're kind of rusty and the nuts kind of hang up sometimes, and it makes me worried that I'm gonna snap a stud off. So I want to get some fresh ARP ones and some open-ended lugs. Plus, they kind of look cool. I also, if anyone was paying attention on Instagram, the day after I bought it, I posted a little teaser that I have purchased a bolt-in roll bar for the two for when I go and do track days and stuff. It's just a basic, just a main hoop and two supports. It's an auto power roll bar, kind of going for my lightweight wannabe Porsche 356 911 kind of look. Basic roll bar, lights on the front, good suspension, and that's all you need for a track day. But uh, but yeah, I've got an auto power roll bar coming. It's been 2 weeks since I've ordered it, and they claim 4 weeks for production, 3 to 4 weeks. So I should be getting an email or a call from them soon that it's on a truck from California. Luckily, they were still open as an essential business to manufacture it. It does take a while, but I'm hoping that because of the whole virus situation, that they were able to do it a little faster. But we'll see. So that's what I've got in the pipe for the two. Really, what I want to spend money on is doing more track days, just getting more seat time. The car's already really as sorted as I want to get it for hard bits. So just a tune, some dress up things, some hardware, and a roll bar. And I'm just going to enjoy it for the most part, save a little bit of money, and then we'll see what happens. So that's pretty much it for future projects for the two. Um, does anyone want to? Sorry, let me wipe my brow here real quick and have a sip of my cold beer to maybe cool me down. Oh, Kenny, you should definitely get your lowering springs done before the Dragon. I mean, the rears are simple, and then the only hard part is the front, which you just buzz off the nut on the top hat, disassemble it, pop the spring in, and reassemble it. It's super simple. Installing springs on the two is really easy. It is a Corona beer. I said at the start it's appropriate given the situation, I suppose. I mean, it was on sale because no one else was buying it, and I'm never gonna say no to a good sale on alcohol. Plus, how difficult is it to get the top bolt off? I don't remember the size, but it's not too difficult if you have an impact driver, preferably air powered, or if you have a battery powered one, just buzz that top nut off. Or if you have a pass through socket and an Allen key, you can get to it that way. But it's just easier to compress the spring, buzz the thing off, and then do the same to reassemble it. And the rears, all you got to do is undo the shocks, and the torsion bar falls. Anyone's uh, I've never had problems with the gas cap indicator with a new cap. Um, I mean, unfortunately, excuse me, unfortunately, that might be a thing for the dealer. That's something I wouldn't mess with personally beyond trying to change the cap. The fuel system stuff might have been overfilled at some point. I think I read somewhere that if you overfill it and it gets into the evap system, it might give you that check engine light. But as far as that, I don't know. Whew, ran out of breath there. I needed to take a swig and a breath. Um, Having a TV in the garage is a game changer, isn't it? I like having mine out here with the Fire Stick going. It's really nice. Uh, I also wanted to take a second because AWR has been I wanted to give them a shout out. I'll take a screenshot of this later. Maybe one of them's watching. So everyone, if you want a mount for your Mazda 2 and engine mount, you already know how I feel about it. Hashtag Team AWR. So they've been posting on social media. If you have our stuff, wear it and share it. So I just wanted to wear it for this and give them a little shout out. I love. Have I had an issue with the clutch pedal being hard and creaky? Not hard, but yes, creaky on this car. It has developed a squeak recently, and unfortunately, when the clutch squeaks on this car, it's the fork in the transmission, and the only way to grease it and service it is to pull the gearbox off the car, which I can live with a little squeak that I only hear in drive-throughs and in the garage. I'm not too worried about it. It's a little annoying if you can hear it, but when you're driving it, I don't notice it that badly. But yes, the squeaky clutch is the fork inside the gearbox, and there's nothing you can do about it until you need a clutch, of course. Real quick, I just wanted to, if anyone else has super chat questions that they want to get in, um, because I know I said I wouldn't diagnose people's cars, and here I am diagnosing problems. They're little small, common known things, but like if you got a major problem, I'll try, but I'm gonna try not to. How hard is it to install fog lights in a 2013? Extremely easy. I've got a video about it. If you go back through my archive, there's a video on how to install fog lights. Hey, what's happening, buddy? Yeah, I did a video on fog lights. I stole the ones on this car from the Touring outside. It's all plug and play. The car is pre-wired for it. All you need is the fog lights, and that's it. The shrouds fit the same. The lights bolt on. It's cut and dry. You couldn't be easier. I don't know about the eBay fog light kits that are like 80 or 90 bucks, whatever they are now. Yes, and you need the column stock, which I recommend buying instead of trying to wire up a switch. Just get the lights. However, uh, I oh, you just missed the Mazda 2s at the Dragon info. It's tentatively scheduled for October 9th, I believe. It's the Tuesday before Petit Le Mans at Road Atlanta. Excuse me, goodness. Yes, that's our current tentative scheduled date. The first or second week of October, October 9th, I'm pretty sure. I'll definitely be posting information about it in Mazda 2 owners on Facebook and on Instagram and all that once the details are finalized, when we get a little closer, and just playing it close to the chest on scheduling at this point. Um, but any tips for tuning? Check out my profile, or check out the my archive of videos. I mean, that's really I mean, it's all the stuff you can bolt on it. As far and ECU tuning, you can look that up. You can gain a few horsepower from that. It's mostly for throttle response more than anything. But you can find information on that anywhere. There is pretty easy cut and dry ECU tuning. So yeah, I guess I've already gotten a ton of money from super chats. If anyone wants to throw some more in there, I would be super grateful. But I'm already blown away already. But I don't want to end it right now. I figured this would go a little bit longer. I figured my discussion. I've got all these talking points. Oh, have fun is one of them, and I'm having fun. I hope you guys are too. But I don't want the conversation to end, so I guess let's just keep commenting, and we can keep chatting about Mazda 2 stuff or Mazda stuff in general, um, or whatever. What do you guys want to talk about? Low end get, and that's the thing. I wouldn't want to give up low to mid range. Peak horsepower's nothing in my book. You want that mid range grunt. All right, that one's done. Thoughts on the new 3, the CX? Oh, okay. I shared my thoughts about the inline 6 earlier. It's very exciting that Mazda is developing their own inline 6, let alone a forced induction one. The current Mazda 3, I'm warming up to it. The hatchback I like more than the sedan, and that has actually flip-flopped since they came out. At first, I hated the look of the Mazda 3 hatch, but now I look at the sedan, and it's just kind of a boxy, clunky, boring design, whereas the 3 hatch is exciting. How how much fuel does it suck? I mean, not any more than a 1.3 would. It's the same engine that's just de-stroked. Any car any car you drive like you've got to drive like a ninny to get good fuel economy out of anything. If you don't care, the Mazda 2 will still do 30 miles per gallon ish. And if you're in the city not caring, it'll be like 27 miles per gallon. I've gotten as high as 40, but lately I've only been driving short stints to and from work, so I've been in the middle 20s for fuel economy. Um, Although I have kind of noticed on the highway that fuel economy hasn't been as good. I posed a conspiracy theory that they're putting more than 10% ethanol in the gas now and just not telling us, which would result in poorer fuel economy. But whatever. It's just a silly talking point. Where was I? What was I talking about? Uh TC's PCs. I don't know if I got a super chat from you. I don't think I did. If you just sent it a second ago, I did not see it. It has not come through. I'm still sitting at the $22 I've had this time. $22. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Um, let's see. Let me scroll back through some of these questions. What's the most... Ooh, I missed this one. What's the most important mod to do to a Mazda 2? Sway bar, seat time? The most important thing you can do is, yes, seat time, but the most important bolt-on thing you can do for the 2 is, yes, a rear torsion bar. It's $100. It bolts on in literally 5 minutes. You jack the car up, 2 bolts, it's on there, and it changes how the car drives. I haven't had any experience on stock suspension with just a torsion bar, but it when I did it with lowering springs, the first corner I hooked it into, it oversteered a little bit with the Cork Sport torsion bar I have. And I know I'm constantly saying I'm preaching the DDM Works bar, and when I have some spare cash, I am going to put my money where my mouth is and put a steel DDM Works bar because it's the better design, it's the more durable material, and I highly recommend doing that instead of the Cork Sport. Just because DDM Works, they're a better company for the community. They support the Mazda 2, whereas Cork Sport kind of doesn't anymore. I like what they do. They're a cool company for the Mazda community, but it's more Mazda speed and forced induction stuff. But I just really appreciate DDM Works. They're good people, and like I said, their short shifter, their torsion bar, they're the superior designs. So excuse me, goodness, I recommend their stuff definitely. Let me scroll back through and see. Torsion bar on stock suspension. Yeah, well, there you go. Then I guess the next best thing, yes, get some seat time. Do a track day. SCCA's Track Night in America is a simple, inexpensive way to go, and it's great for novices that don't want to spend $300 or whatever on a whole track day. Yes, when you spend the $300, you get a whole lot more, but it's you get a whole lot more seat time. but it's just more involved. The Track Night in America program is super. It's super easy to get into, very inviting, and just it works. I don't want any more than that. It's a full hour of track time. You show up on a weeknight, you have some fun, you set your lap time, you improve, and you go home. It's just that simple. It's not a whole involved weekend day. Though I eventually want to save up and do a full one of those 7 hour days at one of these places with one of the other track day companies. So we'll have to see about that. Let's see. Something that's okay. If it's fine if you can't get your super chat in. I've never sent a super chat to another creator, so I don't know how it works either. I know you've got to link a card or an account or something, so don't worry about it. I'm still having fun, and I've came away with way more than I expected from this. I'm actually going to step away because I'm really hot. I'm going to get another ice cold Corona, as controversial as that is. So hang on. I shall return. Oh, the great thing about having a refrigerator in the garage is you can do this kind of stuff. Also, of course, there we go. It might be backwards, I don't know, but I've got my AWR bottle opener because they've sent me all the swag in the world. Hashtag Team AWR. All right, let me scroll back. Have I had any issues with my Mazda 2 so far? None. None with either of them that wasn't a typical wear item, like shocks or needing oil changes, brakes, things like that. No major issues that required an in-depth repair. 5 pound, or yeah, 5 pounds. Thank you. What's the best lowering kit that's not expensive? I need one. Um, Hellcat lover, I love that. I love Hellcats too. If I had the money, I'd have one. I don't care if it's a 2001 Mercedes E-Class with a supercharger. Um, uh, uh, um, uh, where was I? Sorry, everyone. I'm just trying to find my way. Best lowering kit that's not too expensive. I had Megan Racing lowering springs on mine with the stock dampers, which was pretty good. If yours aren't in that good of condition, it I wouldn't recommend it. But my whole thing is if you're gonna do lowering springs, just do it on the stock dampers until they blow out. You can get away with it if your roads are smooth. If you don't want to go that expensive on coilovers, but here's the thing. If you buy lowering springs and you buy a good set of shocks, which Coney Yellows seem to be the only good shocks for the Mazda 2 that you can buy. I've heard about the oranges, but I've also heard that they're not that good. So let's just suppose Coney Yellows, 5-way adjustable damping, and you get a set of lowering springs for 150 bucks. And the shocks are, I don't know, probably $600. Coney Yellows are expensive. You're $700. You might as well spend a couple hundred more and buy a basic set of BC Racing coilovers. I'm a big proponent of just going straight to coilovers on a car. In my experience, they have always ridden better when properly set up and adjusted than just lowering springs. That's just my preference. Of course, I have $1,400 Fortunato digressive piston shocks on my car, and they're super comfortable. When you hit a bump in the road, they suck it up. Not as good as when they were new because they're a couple years old now. But I love my Fortunatos. Good compromise. I always tell people just get a set of BC Racing coilovers and set them up right, and you can't go wrong. But If you're okay with having a little bit rougher ride, just slap a set of lowering springs on there. They're about 150 US dollars. Even the $60 Manzo or the Manzo springs from eBay, those are apparently really good, and the spring rates are only 10% stiffer than stock. They lower to like an inch and a quarter or something like that. You can get away with those pretty easily. Uh, and like I said, I had Megan Racing Springs, and I really liked those. So it's either you just throw a set of $100 springs on there, or you just get a $900 set of coilovers. Personally, I there's no middle ground in my opinion. So there's that for suspension. There were a couple questions I missed. Uh, Fridge, beer, TV, couch. What else do you got in there? Well, I've got the two, of course. I just kind of man caved this place out a little bit. I've got a nice rug in here. I've got the TV and stuff. I just need to put an air conditioner in here so I won't be sweating so much, and I can do these a little bit more and engage with people without sweating too much. Uh, TCs, PCs. You asked, will you mod a new model Mazda 2? I mean, this one's almost paid off, and when I get my government stimulus check, I'm gonna put it toward paying this off. That's all that's left on this, and I don't want a car payment for a long time. I'm hanging on to this car for I don't ever see myself getting rid of it. I love it too much. So getting a new one, and that answers the other question of plans on buying a new car. What's happening, Javier? Plans on buying a new car. I don't have any plans right now. I want to pay this guy off, throw a few more mods at it, and then stimulus check. So here in the United States, we rather than having a basic sounds obscene. Do you need to service coilovers? Eventually, they'll go bad, and you'll have to either have them you'll have to have them rebuilt. Mine are all good. Uh, I want to go back to the whole stimulus check thing. Yes, here in the United States, our government decided to cut most people, I guess, a one-time 1,200 US dollar check to help with the hardship of COVID-19, whereas other countries around the world, I think the UK has a monthly stipend, and Scandinavia have a monthly stipend for their citizens. But yeah, the U.S. government feels that $1,200 is enough to sustain us for several months, which isn't the case. That's one mortgage payment on my house. I haven't even gotten mine yet. But yeah, I'm paying off my car with mine whenever it happens. Yeah, some people didn't get anything. It's This whole situation's unfortunate. I don't want to get into it too much. But you tell them, comrade. Hell yeah, this go. Oh, I don't want to get into my into my leftism here. Everyone who follows me on Instagram knows enough about that. But yes, everything will get better if the workers of the world unite. I'll leave it at that. Seen dirt cheap $70 springs on eBay. Yes, you can get away with those if they're the I mean, lowering springs, they're all the same. It's all the same crap. If you get you can pay $300 for a set of H&Rs or iBox, or you can pay $70 for the eBay springs, and it's all going to be the same damn thing. So, what are you going to... If you want to feel better about it, you can get some middle ground ones like I did. I bought Megan Racing, and they were fine. Another member of our community did the $70 eBay ones and said they were fine, and they're only 10% stiffer. So if you've got good dampers on the car, it's not gonna destroy them. Uh, Excuse me, it's not gonna destroy them so long as you're not trying to ford any rivers or go off road with it. It'll be fine. Just make sure you trim your bump stops so you don't have a rough ride. Um, let's see what else. We have a generous right of center government. Yeah, yeah, that's the truth. Uh, uh, New tires with your stimulus check. That's a good purchase. $5. Thank you. Uh, 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 uh. I don't think I've missed any other ones. We're closing in on 50 minutes. Where did you get your headlight? Oh, the my stickers. I always get that they're orange. Do they really look orange? They're like golden yellow. So I guess that's arguably orange. The stickers. Back when I was working at a print shop, I had access to our vinyl department and a vinyl cutter. I just made them myself. It's just a stripe of vinyl that I laid on there and trimmed to suit. It's just as simple as that. Seriously considering importing a DW in the next 2 years. Oh, Gran Turismo 1 vibes, right? Or that was DW's, right? Or was that the. No, that was the slightly curvy generation. What was the. What was the really square one? Um. Ben, what was the DW the boxy one or the kind of square Demio? I don't remember. I always get the older generations. Orange on Android, yellow on iPhone. Hell yeah, I kind of agree with that. After changing shock mounts, I discovered the real soul of the car. Corners smooth and fast. Starting from this, how can I improve cornering? Well, removing unsprung weight. I did a little bit. DW. That yeah. Um, DW is the square one. That's what it is. I always get confused with the older ones. After changing shock mounts, blah blah blah. Removing unsprung weight from the car definitely is a good way to go. I mean, you're not gonna feel it per se. I mean, you're always going to feel a lighter car, but I mean, every gram counts. That's how they got these cars to weigh 2,300 pounds, brand new in 2014. In this case, this was probably the lightest car on sale in 2014. You can take the back seat out, just remove little things here and there. Every gram counts, and then from there, rear torsion bar. Number one, do that first. Then if you don't want to do coilovers, you can just do some lowering springs and then get some camber bolts and dial in 2.5 degrees of camber, and you'll be handling aces. I have done videos on all that stuff. So just check them out. DDM Works torsion bar, SPC camber bolts, and then the lowering springs of your choice, or coilovers if you want to go that route. And you'll have a perfectly handling Mazda 2. Just make sure you set it up good, and you'll be happy. Italian, half of those what lowering springs and braces and things like that are illegal in Italy. Camber bolts and things like that. That's unfortunate. The country of Ferrari doesn't like modifying cars. I've never heard about that. I've never heard of Italians having issues with modifying cars, but if that's the case, that's unfortunate. That's I mean, I recommend a lot of things, but I also live in Florida, United States, which is the lawless West as far as modifying cars. You can drive around in a rusty shitbox and they don't care. And Tian Street Advance 16. Yes, Tians are good. I haven't had experience with them personally with the two, but I've ridden in a Miata that had them. I mean, they're good, and they're relatively inexpensive. I always recommend going a little higher and going with BCs, but TNs are always good too, or Tane, TN. Who knows how that's pronounced? I'm pretty sure it's TN. Uh, Weird clunk noise. sway bar hitting something. Have you experienced something like that? I have not, but something might be loose somewhere, and I would check that out if you're getting a pretty consistent clunk. Lowering springs can be done if the manufacturer allows that. Try and find. I don't know if they offered them in Italy, but Mazda, through dealerships in some parts of Europe, offered factory Eibach lowering springs, or I think it was Eibach, but they were 30 millimeter lowering springs, and they were a factory installed part. So maybe look into that and check on the legality of. Can you share what my experience of sleeping a night in the two? Um, Not as bad as one might think. It's not as comfortable as a nice hotel bed, but saving the $100 a night on a hotel stay is definitely worth it. I mean, the biggest issue is condensation. Yeah, the inside of the windows, just there's condensation on them just because you build up heat from exhaling inside the car. Of course, I have the windows cracked so I don't suffocate when I sleep in there. But I guess that's the most inconvenient thing is that the windows fog up and you get condensation. Um, UK, yes, I know. In the UK, even the slightest change to a car just drives everything up. Which as much as I love the UK, I think if I ever live there, I probably won't own a car. I'll probably own a motorbike or something, or I'll just ride the tube everywhere. But who am I kidding? I could never afford to live in London as much as I loved it the last time I visit. Um, I'd honestly, I'd probably live somewhere out in the country where I wouldn't need a car as much as I love driving. But yes, yes, if they offer those lowering springs in Italy, try and find a set of those and little shark fin studs at the top back of their cars to clean up the wind drag. No, putting the little shark fin vortex generators on the back of your car does absolutely nothing on most cars. Uh, what the purpose of those is if you have a big old wing on the back of your car like you would with a Subaru STI or a Mitsubishi Evo, you put those vortex generators on the trailing edge of the roof and it disturbs the air, which helps it flow over the wing a little bit better. On something like the 2, it's not going to make a damn bit of difference and it's just gonna kind of look cheesy. So yes, avoid shark fin vortex generators on something that doesn't have a large downforce producing wing, I will say. What do I do for a living? Oh, that's a good question. We can make it a little bit about me for a while. Um, I currently, and for the past about year and a half, I work for Piper Aircraft, and I work in wing final assembly for the Cherokee line of aircraft. So I build airplanes for a living, which is really cool, especially because I live within 5 minutes of the airport, and our test pilots are constantly flying a route over my house. So at any given time, I can walk outside when I'm home, look up in the sky, and see an airplane that I built parts for, which is really, really rewarding. And the pay and the benefits are really good and everything. And thankfully, because we're manufacturing face shields and stuff, it's nice that we're an essential business and still open. It's a good thing about working at a giant manufacturing facility. And honestly, Piper is the best job I have ever had. I hope to work in the aerospace industry for many years to come. I don't know. We use all kinds of stuff. I was surprised to find out that we use Boeing hardware because there's a lady that comes through every once in a while in a Boeing shirt, and I'm like, what's she doing here? And they were like, oh yeah, we use Boeing hardware, and I was like, oh, yeah, we use all kinds of stuff. What was where'd you say you work? Uh, 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 If the springs are lower, the ride is less comfortable. Really, the spring comfort is down to the condition of your shocks. That's the biggest thing. Walmart, Asda, home delivery. So never need a car. Exactly. Uh, um, PCP arrow fixings. I'm gonna have to look out for that. I haven't seen that name around, but I'll keep an eye out for it. What kind of things do I do for fun besides the car? Video games? Actually, lately I have been heavy duty into Red Dead Redemption 2. And anyone who follows me on Instagram knows I just bought my little cowboy gun to have some fun with. I've always wanted one separate from Red Dead Redemption, but I have been heavy duty into that game lately, like 60% through the story mode, and I've always loved the whole Old West thing, and really just with the complication of life lately, I've kind of wanted to move out to Wyoming or Montana or something, and just piss off to a cabin somewhere and just not have. What's my favorite racing movies or YouTube channels? I actually don't watch. Uh, I don't watch a lot of other people's YouTube stuff, but favorite racing movies, I would have to say Days of Thunder. Oddly enough, as rednecky and kind of campy '90s '80s it is, I just love Days of Thunder. I can watch it anytime. Talladega Nights. I love all the NASCAR movies. As much as I am a fan of endurance sports car racing, first and foremost, I just love the NASCAR movies. They're fun. Days of Thunder I can put on anytime and watch. More recently, I enjoyed Ford versus Ferrari. There were some inaccuracies in that movie, but considering that it was made for the average, casual viewer, they did a really good job depicting the 24 Hours of Le Mans in the '60s and the whole Ford versus Ferrari story. So yeah, racing movies. Xbox or PS4? Xbox. I've got an Xbox One. I don't foresee myself buying the next gen console when it comes out, just because have I ever raced the green and the silver car? No, but damn, that's a good idea for content. Maybe eventually I'll get ballsy and I'll race my two twos against one another. Other than video games, what do I do for fun? Nothing. I sit home and I dream about car stuff a lot. I spend a lot of time online just dreaming up things for this and just enjoying the things other people do. I'm kind of I'm a little bit of an introverted homebody. I social interaction is kind of difficult for me in some ways. So either of the two's boosted. No, I don't have any immediate plans for forced induction on either of my cars. I enjoy them at the speeds they go. Um, uh, Go back and check this out once the stream is over and it's and it's uploaded and everything. I covered all that. I am not wanting for more power. Next year, taking the two to Florida. Well, hit me up. Damn, Ray, $10? Thanks for the beer at Daytona. Thanks for the good times, buddy. I can't wait to see you again next year. Uh, hopefully you can come down and we can hang out again. It was one of the better Daytonas I've had. Kenny, yeah, if you're down here because you weren't too far away from me, if you bring the two down, hit me up and we can have a little mini meet. Ever thought of doing an engine swap in them? Um, if I were going to do an engine swap, I would pay someone else to do it, which A, I don't have the money for, and B, it's excuse me, it's more trouble than I want to go to. But if theoretically speaking, if I were going to do an engine swap, it would be a 2.5 MZR swap from a Mazda 3. The 2.5 liter MZR makes 180 horsepower and around the same amount of torque, and it's all NA. You wouldn't have to worry about it, and I would imagine I would have to find a way to fit the 6-speed gearbox from the 3 into this as well. It would be a proper, reliable rocket ship with that engine. A lot of the electronic inputs are the same between all of the MZR engines. Even if I did the 2-liter with 150 horsepower, it would still be super fun. But again, I don't want to I don't want to ruin this car in the search of horsepower. If you get what I'm saying, it is current mileage on both twos. I have 55,000 miles on this one, just rolled over, and 155,000 miles on the green one, also just rolled over recently, with fresh oil changes in both. But yes, I do not long for more horsepower in this car. I long for another track day where I can beat up on people who think horsepower is everything. My favorite car. Okay, well, after this car, because this is my absolute favorite car that I've ever owned, if my favorite car that I hope to one day afford is a Porsche 911 of some kind. I'm aiming for one day uh, getting a 996 generation 911, or ideally a 997 Carrera S, so I could fuck off into the sunset with my fast Beetle and forget it. GT2 RS. Oh, in big dreams. Big dreams for an RS model. No, a simple Carrera S would be enough for me. I think ideally if I were to buy one brand new, uh, and I had the money like a year or two ago, I probably would have bought a 991 Carrera T. They're pretty cool. But I think ideally, if I can get into a later 996 or a 997 Carrera S, I think that's probably. Do I have a track nemesis person type of car? I don't. I mean, really, everyone's my nemesis until I pass them, or rather, everyone's my nemesis until I get a point buy. Then I'm their nemesis. Did I just get $10 more? No, it just oh, that was from Ray. Thank you. Thinking about upgrading my blinkers to LED. No, I don't want to, and I don't want to mess around with the lighting too much because I've heard some horror stories about people melting sockets and things like that. Exactly. Fiesta STs. There was a guy at one of my track days last year. I kept pointing him by, and he would not pass me when he had the opportunity on the back straightaway of Palm Beach International Raceway. They have a long, almost mile long back straightaway. He would not pass me. And when I saw him in the paddock afterward, I was like, buddy, why didn't you pass me? He was like, because I was having so much fun trying to keep up with you in the corners. And that is why I don't lust for horsepower, because I don't need it. I can beat up on. There was a time I was being held up by a guy in a Dodge Viper. I don't want more power. I just want more seat time, and that's how you get fast. Learning how to drive a car quickly will make you faster than any amount of horsepower ever. Faster isn't just 0 to 60, if that makes any sense. Let me see. I think I missed a couple questions. Big difference between Sky Active and non-Sky Active for Kenny. Yes, there is a big difference between the MZR and the Sky and whatever the Sky Active engine designation is. The Sky Active engines, they're really high compression, and as a result, they have to be designed around that. They're direct injection. They have those long snaking, long tube exhaust manifolds. Top tips for track days and driving fast. Well, I don't. I just take it slow. You're not going to be fast on the first day. I learned how to heel toe, for example. That's a thing. I learned how to heel toe by watching other people do it, and I figured out how to do it myself. The first thing I ever drove fast, believe it or not, was a go kart and not a big car. So I learned how to go fast in something with one gear first before I did anything fast in a big car. And just for some perspective, when I first started driving when I was 16, 17 years old, I had already had a bunch of experience in go-karts. And I thought I was a hot dog, thought I knew what I was doing, and I plowed my 2002 Protege 5 over a curb going into a corner thinking I knew what I was doing. I locked up all four, went right over a curb. I haven't had an accident since, but I learned that day that you are not as good as you think you are. Just learn, ask questions, take your time. No one's looking at you. So just go out there and learn and have fun. And the speed will come with experience, especially on corners. People get a shot. Yes, momentum will shock a lot of people. 5 Bernie signs in my garage. I have 1 Bernie sign. Well, I've got a bumper sticker on that over there. But yes, I've got a sign in the background. Yes, I supported Bernie Sanders. I'm left of Bernie Sanders, but he was a stopgap. We won't get into politics here. Follow me on Instagram to know how I feel about all that. Oh damn, I've got low battery, so we're gonna have to call this quits here pretty soon. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anything. I just want to make sure I answer everyone's questions, and then we can call it quits. First car was an O2 P5. Hell yeah. Good first car. Little heavy, but damn, they're good cars. Shitty engine. The FSDE is garbage. But I wish Mazda would have kept the VVTi BP in there. That would have been a whole lot better. Earn momentum and you can drive anything on track. Exactly. US politics is too damn complicated. Yes. It's complicated and not quite. So, yes it is. Protege ES. Hell yeah. The BG chassis. I've had a couple of BGs. I had my BJ chassis to start. It's good first Mazda, and it's funny. Everyone in the community, they kind of started with BJ proteges. They either graduated to Miatas or something else, and kind of a lot of them ended up with Mazda 2s or 3s. It's kind of funny. But a Mazda Speed protege, if you can find one that's not a beat up piece of shit, then yes, absolutely. Cause there's one guy I follow on Instagram. I don't remember his account, but he has got a minty fresh Survivor spicy orange MSP, and I'm so jealous. I all the want, but yeah. So anyway, the battery's dying. If anyone wants to throw one last thing in there before I go, I appreciate everyone for joining in on this. And this has been a really, really successful stream. I got through all my talking points and then some. And I just, it's nice to be more or less back and communicating with everyone. Thank you to everyone who committed. Who, well, I guess you kind of did commit some money. Everyone who contributed some super chats. I do these more often. I've kind of been weighing doing like a once a month kind of stream. If people want to DM me on Instagram or comment below on this one after it's uploaded, just let me know if you want to see some more streams. I always thought about doing this once a month. I'd ideally like to do it like more podcast style with some friends so we can have a roundtable discussion about it. But right now that's not possible. What time is it in Florida? It's probably about a little after 7 right now, 7 p.m. But yeah, so I think that's it for this one. Thank you once again to all my pals in the community for your super chats and everyone for the exciting questions that kept this stream going. I just get GTA 5. I also have GTA 5 too. I beat that a long time ago and I pick it up every once in a while. But anyway, this has been really fun. Thank you everyone for coming in and contributing, having fun, and keeping the discussion going. I hope I can do this one. God, I can't find my words. I hope I can do this again soon. I don't play online. I'm typically, I just do story mode and stuff. Online mode's too frustrating. Anyway, once again, thank you everyone, and I'll see you all in the next one. Now let me end it. This is the thing I always don't know how to do. Yes, I would like to stop streaming. All right.